You are listening to the Dental Business Mastery Podcast, where you discover management insights and strategies for your successful dental practice. There are also interviews with key people in the industry who have advice and services to help you and your team achieve great success. Welcome to this episode of the Dental Business Mastery Podcast. I'm Julie Parker, your host for today. And today I wanted to talk about triage questions. These are the questions that we ask over the phone to dental patients as receptionists. And Ameena and myself, when we move through call recordings, it's really brought home to us just how important those triage questions are and what a magnificent rapport builder they are. And so I'm talking about not just new patients, but also existing patients of your practice as well. So if you are a dental receptionist listening to this episode, or any member of the front of house team, whether you're a practice manager or a practice owner, I think this is going to be an episode that you'll find really interesting. Now, I know when some people hear the word triage, it's traditionally used in kind of a medical framework. It became more around dental practice use through the COVID stage when we're trying to, triage patients as to how urgent their issue was. Did they actually have to come in for a dental appointment time? But triage is really just a structured way of asking questions so that you can understand what someone needs. And when you do that well, with genuine care and curiosity, something really wonderful happens. And that is connection. The patient feels you connecting with them. The patient feels heard, they feel understood, and they feel like they've already landed in capable hands before they've even booked an appointment time. Now, what is connection? And really, connection is rapport building. If you do any kind of communications training, they do talk about the importance of rapport. Because when you do achieve rapport, that is in essence achieving connection with this other person. And it is a feeling of being genuinely understood by another person. It's the sense that you get when you think, oh, this other person really gets me. They get the importance of what I'm talking about, or they get the value of me. And in a medical context, in a dental context, it is super important to develop that rapport and that connection. When you think about it, patients ring for all sorts of reasons. Some are really calm about ringing up. Others, though, may be going through a period of vulnerability. Maybe they've been in pain. Maybe they feel ashamed that they haven't been to the dentist for such a long time. Maybe they're concerned that they won't be able to be seen in a time frame that they want. They might be nervous, they might be phobic. So all sorts of things could be going on for the patient on the other end of the line. Or it could simply be they are just super busy, like we are all super busy, and hoping it's going to be a quick and easy phone call. Always be mindful as a receptionist that when patients call you for a dental appointment time, you end up becoming the solutions person. You're the person that can either make this happen for them or not. And so you're kind of in that position of, in essence, power. You are the gateway in order for them to get what they need. And the patient's aware of this, that you're the ones that can help them in this moment. And this is why it is also important to show up in the right way in that moment. How warm, how capable, how caring you sound matters more than you actually might think. So thinking about relating to somebody in that connected rapport building way, relating to somebody, meeting where they're at in that moment, it is a skill to develop. It won't always come naturally, and it's certainly something we can always improve on. Imagine you had a frightening experience the night before. Someone knocked loudly at your door at 2:00 in the morning and you had no idea what it was. It woke you up, your heart started pounding, and you were like fearful, like what the hell is going on? The person goes, it starts to quieten down. You take a long time to get back to sleep again, but you eventually do. Then you go in to work the next day and you start telling one of your co-workers what happened the night before. Imagine it, you're recounting this story with all of that fear and adrenaline and confusion that you've just lived through, and your teammate just kind of responds in a bit of a flat tone. Oh, okay. The same kind of tone they'd use if you just told them that you were, oh, so this morning I had 2 coffees today instead of 1. Oh, okay. And you know it doesn't feel right. They're not matching you where you're at. And in that moment, it does feel that there's a disconnection, that there's like a disengagement there. Like your experience that you've explained to them with all this energy doesn't land with them at all. And what you will probably do then is repeat the story, expanding on the details, raising the stakes a little until your teammate that finally responds in the way that matches the gravity of what you just went through. Now, here's the parallel I want you to draw to a patient who calls your practice because they have a toothache, and a bad toothache. They've been up through the night. They're anxious. They're in pain. They're calling because they need help, and you're the only one that can help them. And if your response to that patient is the same kind of flat tone, okay, so you need an appointment. What's your name? The patient will feel exactly what you felt. Unheard, unseen, not particularly important. But if the receptionist responds in a way that does show genuine concern, so for example, oh goodness, you've been up all night? That sounds terrible. You must be so tired. Your tolerance must be up. Or, oh gosh, that sounds really uncomfortable. I'm absolutely going to help you out here. Then the patient exhales. They feel like they're in safe hands. You've met them where they're at. You have matched their level of energy and type of energy. And they feel like this person cares. This person is going to look after me. That's rapport. That's connection. Matching someone's energy doesn't mean being dramatic or theatrical. It just means interacting with them in such a way that you are putting yourself in their shoes, experiencing what they're experiencing them, and meeting them at that point. And honestly, Ameena and I have listened to so many call recordings over the years, and it is the way you ask some of these questions. And so rather than in a flat tone, is it sensitive to hot or cold? What about biting? How long has it been going on for? Have you taken pain medication for it? And acting like you're going through a checklist as opposed to a more rapport building connected way of moving through that conversation of, oh, it's kept you up all night, or you poor thing. Tell me, is it sensitive to hot or cold things? Goodness. And how about pressure? What about when you eat? How does it feel then? Oh, how many days have you been putting up with this for? And on and on. It is the type of energy we've put into asking those questions. And they really feel like, rather than just going through a checklist, it feels like, as the patient, it feels like you've stepped into their world and now you share their discomfort. Now you're right there with them and you're taking this as seriously as they are taking it. But it doesn't always need to be from a toothache urgent appointment time perspective. The same is also true for those appointment times where people are just ringing up for a routine visit. So when they sound relaxed and cheerful, you match that as well. Once you determine who it is and you've looked up their file and you see how long they've been a patient for, then you can say, oh, Sally, lovely to hear from you. They too need something in that phone call. And this time it's not matching them with their kind of discomfort. I don't want to say trauma, but sometimes it is traumatic for them. But when it's just a routine visit and they have been a patient for a period of time, no matter what period of time, they also would like to feel a connection. And that connection comes through familiarity. And so when you do acknowledge them by their name, When you do, rather than ask something like, which dentist do you normally see, you're actually already in their details because they've given you their name or you've seen their phone number on the display panel and you've typed that in. That you, instead of saying, oh, which dentist would you normally see, you say, I know that you normally see Tom, don't you? So let's book a time with him. And you'll find that sense of familiarity will build quick connection and quick rapport. So when we're talking about triage questions, it's really just a series of questions that help you as the receptionist understand the situation so you can make the appropriate booking. What's it for? When do you need it by? Does this time suit? There are more questions when it is an unexpected visit, so you can give all of the information to the clinician so you can make the appropriate length of appointment time and book it in with the appropriate provider as well. For example, if it sounds like a classic infected nerve or inflamed nerve, you want to book it in with the dentist that does actually treat nerves in the practice. But even when it's a routine visit, you do want to build that connection and rapport and ask a few questions just to make sure that there isn't actually anything else going on for them that may end up lengthening that appointment time, that in the moment they might be thinking, oh, when I get there, I'll talk to the dentist about that. No, you'd like to know about that as well, just in case it's something that needs to lengthen that appointment time out. So with the triage questions, they can be super powerful. When we're talking about using them as a pathway to rapport and connection, then it is important not to sound like you're just in a data gathering mode, that you're not just going through a list of questions, that you're actually asking these questions because you want to understand more so what's going on for the patient. You're asking from a caring perspective rather than just that data gathering perspective. What can be effective is making a statement that acknowledges the patient. So if they're calling up with an urgent issue that they need attended to, rather than going straight to, oh, is it sensitive to hot or cold or pressure, etc., then just hold and say, oh gosh, that sounds like you're in real discomfort. I am so glad you called us. Let me find out a little bit more information so I can make the right appointment time for you. And if it's a routine appointment time, then just take that moment and just say, Sally, it's so delightful to hear from you. Let me go into Tom's appointment book. I know you normally see him, and see what I can make happen. Now, some of these phrases, they won't come to you naturally. And this is where scripts can help. Scripts aren't always for getting every single word accurate. What it is for, though, is to provide you with those key prompts. And so through your repetition in using these terms, slowly but surely, they just become part of your vernacular, part of how you say things. And you'll find that happens pretty swiftly. One of the most important things when you are on the phone is to slow down. Sometimes when we're trying to get all this information out, we're trying to move through the phone call swiftly, we just speak too quickly. And that doesn't allow us time to think about the words that we say, to choose the words that we say. And so one of the ways you can really start to incorporate some of these different phrases and ways of speaking, ways of rapport building, ways of connecting into what you say is just to slow down. And you'll find your brain will work a little bit more effectively at selecting the words and the phrases that you use. And so we all know the triage questions to ask. They're not always asked. When we've been doing our phone recording assessments, they're not always asked. And the times that they are asked, with that rapport building element to it, it blows us away with how well those calls are managed. The key here is to always make all of our patients, new patients, regular patients, urgent appointment times, routine appointment times, that we meet all of them where they're at, that we make all of them feel heard, acknowledged, important to us. And they are. They're so important to us. They are the reason that we're here. So I do encourage receptionists out there to take your time with asking these triage questions. Utilize them as a way of building rapport and connection with patients. And so then patients are left at the end of the phone call truly believing that you get them and that you're there for them and you're providing the best solution that you can for them, and that there's nothing else that they needed to say to you for you to be able to get the same sense of importance and urgency over their issue, or the same sense of familiarity that they would really like to experience because they've been coming back for a little while now. So happy rapport building, happy connection making, and happy triaging your patients next time you are manning the phones. If your team require any training in this space, always just go straight to our website, dentalbusinessmastery.com.au. We've got online courses, we've got one-on-one coaching, we've got the academy, over 100 training videos there, and we are available if anybody needs any assistance in this space. But otherwise, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, then I encourage you to head over to Ameena and my website, dentalbusinessmastery.com.au. You will find all the information that you need if you would like to gain our assistance in helping you and your team achieve great success. If you would like to find out more, you can also email us directly at info@dentalbusinessmastery.com.au. Thanks so much for listening.